Hello, everybody. I welcome. Happy New Year. It is Monday. It is the first week of this beautiful 2021, and I want to say hello to you all. I hope you had an awesome break, and maybe you took a little social media break too, and that's just awesome. I'm just jumping in here on Monday because I committed to that. So, although it's been a really peaceful start to the week, there are things happening, but didn't feel like I needed to jump in with both feet. But I did feel like I needed to come and say hi to all the new members we have, just to kind of give you a little snapshot of what this group is about and what you could benefit from. My name is Amanda Sutton, and I today am talking about leaders. This thing called leadership. I thought I could probably go and jump into top 6 things to, that thought leaders can do in 2020 to jumpstart your year, or we could discuss, a bunch of things to kind of get you organized, which we will. But today I thought I want to talk about the fundamental question that a lot of you are probably wrestling with in 2021, which is this the year that I'm going to get my message and my purpose come through in the form of actionable words? And am I going to step into that to be the go-to person for myself in my industry? That's what it's about. That is when we started on Monday morning. That is what we're doing here if you've joined, because that's just it. That's the journey that you guys are all on, and it's the conversations and the journey that I have with so many people that I'm able to speak with, who I've been able to form all these all this background and experience of people's mindset. So I thought that's a great place to start. And I wish this could be more of a dialogue, guys. Thank you for joining, clicking on, if you're catching it on the replay. But this would be such a great back and forth as well. So I am going to try to keep my eye on the comments and stuff, because I want it to be a little bit interactive today. So leaders, are they born, right? Some think that leaders are born the way they are, or that they're acquired through this leadership quality over time. Now, and if you came through, my ads or whatever way you found me, is that I don't think that there is a way to dominate your industry rather quickly. I do think there's a way, and I found a method to skip the line into creating authority, and it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take years, and it can be done in months. Absolutely. It doesn't matter if you're starting something new, or it doesn't matter if you've been at this a long time and you need to reinvent your expertise, right? It comes in the same form. It's the same process, and anyone can do it. So the thing about leadership, though, is there's 2 camps, and in some camps, people find that there's these traits you're born with, like charisma and professional speaking skills, sure, confidence, the person just has it. And you can either, those things as well, by the way, can either decrease or increase over time, depending on the experience and situations, that you're going through. But ultimately, it's this camp thought that that they have it, whatever it is, they always have, and you chalk that up to whatever that is. But if you've noticed about those types of leaders, or let's call them leaders for now, people and personality types, they also have a lot going on, hands in multiple things. Businesses going on, they don't know what they're supposed to be working on one day. They live by their personal assistant. Like, that's cool. And whatever your marker of success is, that can work. But these, it's kind of this busyness in action type of thing. And it's not to say they're not influential, and they're definitely persuasive. No question. That's just one camp, right? That's one camp that thinks, yeah, like you have it, and you develop it, and, you hone it over time, but you have it. And then I want you to picture the other. So there's this other camp that leaders are not born, but rather they can evolve, and they evolve out of this 2 places, right? 2 things happen. You can either evolve like over time or slowly. It's maybe out of the passion for doing something. Maybe it's something good. Maybe it's something for good for the public or for society. And the second thing is maybe there's an event that just, it spurs you to action. It's changed you on a visceral level and you have no choice, but to step into this thing. It's maybe there was like suffering and grit, and that's part of your story, and that's how this leadership came to be. It's all good. These are in both of those, camp 2, I'll call it. These are people that learn from, real life situations. And they're usually enriching themselves with like the knowledge gained through that experience. And that's usually separate and apart from their actual education and whatever they've gotten trained in or certified in or educated in. It's this real life type of thing, which is great. But if you notice, again, camp number 2, these people are sometimes fall in the camp of, I want to equate them to like a tortured artist type of thing. Busy in thought, right? Busy up here, but maybe, not lacking, or it takes a long time to get it out of them. Often these people are they're creatives. They express it in other ways, right? They're I won't say avoiding, but they're expressing it in different ways, or it never seems to get out completely because words are scary. I'll come back to that later. Words are very, very scary to a lot of people. I get that. I say a lot, I'm a wordy, right? I'm also a foodie, but I'm also a wordy. And the power of words and language that we discuss in building this platform, this thought leadership platform, become really, really powerful. Totally able to learn it, but it could be scary. And I think that's because we know how much power they can hold. So getting back to these 2 types of camps, let me know, right? Type in the box if you feel like you've come into this. You're even if you're just kind of on the edge here going, well, what is this? Thought leadership, like, can I be the expert? I have a great idea. I don't know if this is for me. Is this even the year to step in? Just type in the bottom or comment which camp you think you belong to. So camp number 1, right? Just born, habit, or always we're good at stuff, or I could always speak about anything. I just, don't know where to focus. Or pick something. Or number 2, which is just, it's in me. I know it's in me. And camp 2 is also, the passion is there. The words may not be yet. But kind of what also camp number 2 finds is it's time is up. Like there's not enough time left to kind of keep it inside. So type which one is you. And what I will say is that there's 2 ways you guys can approach coming into this year in thought leadership, in terms of being the go-to expert in your niche, in your space, in your industry. That's what we mean, right? Stepping in. And again, I said, if you're building a business or a practice that's already, it's already moving forward, there's reinvention that can happen. There is repositioning that can happen. There is fluid flow that can happen. You are not, obstructed by anything. So it can happen there too. Here's either way though, right? Like there's 2 things. Number 1, going back to camp number 1, these people that are busy in action. I want the number 1 thing, this is the born leader, right? You're out there, you're doing all the things, but you may, lack the influence in any one thing. So the word I want you to take into 2021, if you're in camp 1, is focus. Okay? And you're going to focus more on your passion and who. So the action is, spending time, let's say, in independent research. Okay? If you are going to be the expert of one thing, be a sleuth, be the independent researcher in that thing. You've got to shore up what you're doing. Thought leadership, as you know, it's leading with actionable words, but it's supported by research. Okay, we'll cover that as we go. I like to have these once or twice a week, and we'll cover that with this supportive research type of thing. But so let that be it. Spend time in independent research and write less, think more. Now, if you're new here, you haven't been over to the About section, there's a free webinar I encourage you all to please watch. Because there's 5 shifts in there that you need to make prior to even stepping into this thing, right? Being paid the most in your space, being a high paid expert, being a go-to in your field, presenting and delivering in that way. What does that mean? But number two of those shifts is write less and think more. So I want you to think, if you fall into camp number one, think more about these patterns. So this requires things like, sitting in silence, kind of going inwards, connecting to your why. Like if that's the action that you start your day with, those types of innate leaders are going to benefit much more fully from honing that type of practice so that you can actually focus. And you notice I'm kind of narrowing in. That's a theme here. Okay. Jack of all trades, master of none. And then my other word for the other people that fall in the other camp, I'm just going to check in for a second here. Yeah, camp two. So, and then the camp two guys for you, this is I'll call them butterfly leaders. It feels like it's a chrysalis, and I promise you everything you need is in there. But that chrysalis, it's kind of red. It might be ready to pop, but it feels thin. Even though it's not ready, it feels thin. It feels like things are just on the surface. I want you to connect your focus for the new year is connect to the power of words. Everything in your head, right? Everything you may create, I know that's an outlet for a lot of people. Can you put it in words? Can those words be just your own? And just notice. I want you to start noticing more. Instead of being in your head, I want you to notice the sensations that come up when certain words, this is all related to your business and to your branding and to your, how you're out in the world helping people, and connect those words to those words that empower you. It's just a simple exercise. So slowly you're going to be turning your why into this communication, right? And you will let it be revealed. But take that time to connect. And the other thing I want camp number two is to realize is as soon as you do that, you're not only persuasive, this camp two people, you're also committed. You're persuasive, but you're also committed. So when I speak to people and work with people that come from the camp two, I have less work to do in terms of, will you do it? Will you commit? It's always a yes. It's always a yes. People from camp number one, I love you. I used to live there, but it's always a, well, why? Well, can I do it my way? So it's that. And the fact that you're committed is going to make you more persuasive in the collective media, in the space of your industry. Again, that thought leadership place. It's creating a platform that's going to be really, really solid to go out and step out on. But yeah, like the more persuasive you are, right? And the more selfless and committed you are to the mission, that's going to attract followers. Like it's a natural progression of all these things. So when you're connecting though that passion, instead of it being all whirlwindy in your head, but you actually put it into a plan, you're not so much busy in thought, but it's leaving your brain and it's actually put on a track somewhere, going somewhere and building something. That's when magic happens. So that's why I call butterfly leaders, because the wingspan can be so expansive. So just today was just an opportunity to say hi, to connect back with you guys, and also to encourage you if you haven't, and if you have a comment below, what do you think? Do you still feel that based on your experience, leadership it's just born or it's made? So I've seen both, I've worked with both, and I think that what is true in both cases is that it requires acquiring some skills. There's no doubt. There's skills that the camp one can shore up, and there's skills that the camp two can shore up. But if you show up in 2021 with the mission on your heart, it's funny because when we do this process, I'm either spending time in the first little while dissecting to get down to the real, the core nugget of people's mission, or we get there very quickly, but we're struggling to do we actually champion together to do the work of the focusing into the plan. So it's all good, right? It doesn't matter the fact that you're here. It's like, for this group, it doesn't matter. There's a process for both. But what I don't want it to do is start to hold you back. Because if you think that it's a suit that you can't wear or a suit that you can't put on, and there may be very good reasons for that. We don't know yet, but let's start to do that. So the number one place I want you to go is to the About section, where there is the free webinar. It's a nice little intro. And then I want to continue this dialogue throughout the new year and answer your questions below, because you all have different experiences of leadership. And you notice I'm not, thought leaders are something else. I feel like I was debating what to talk about today. Thought leadership is simply, and I'll just put it here, it's leading with actionable words, supported by research, and acted upon out of values. We're going to dissect that in another Facebook Live. But those are the leaders we're building here. So that's the piece we're building here. Now that naturally lends itself to great conversation, naturally lends itself to interviews, naturally lends itself for you to start standing up and speaking, kind of like I am, just, speaking your truth, speaking what you know, speaking what you've been doing, to help others along. Because here's my last point, and I promise I wanted to write this down because it was good. Whether you're sitting in camp 1 or sitting in camp 2, here's the truth. These scenarios do nothing for the world. Do you notice that? Like, you're out doing your thing and you're just leading by grit and fire and, vinegar and whatever. Where's the impact? The impact you're making may not be as strong as you'd like, right? So that's the focus piece. It's satisfy. And then the other one, camp 2, it's all inside. So, right? Like, that's also physically not out there helping the world. So both scenarios are satisfying our own needs, right? Before thinking about stepping out and putting this into an actionable way to see results, to see outcomes, to make transformation happen in others, in businesses, in others, in the way things are run at work, whatever it is, whatever you are now firmly decided in your heart that you need to make a change in, based on all your experience and smarts and all that amazing stuff you're going to put in there. So don't worry about the how. But when you start connecting the passion, right, and the message into a plan, is when the magic happens. So yeah, like I said, I'd love to host like a little we'll get more like event focused this year. I'm in this group just a couple times, and I'm mentoring. I'm here. Obviously, I run the agency, but I'm really focusing in 2021 in individually helping people through the process. So that's my commitment in the group here. If you guys are wondering or meeting me for the first time, as I said, you can check out all my channels or whatever you want to do. And I hope to connect personally with you guys. I want to learn. There's also a great question. It says in the announcements, it actually says if you could speak for like all day about one thing, what would it be? I want that to be instinctive. Of course, again, it's business related, but I want it to be instinctive. And usually, which is funny, it's a thing that like fires you up or pisses you off, or the thing you want to change. It just bubbles up. And when it does bubble up, and you have to put it from your brain into your fingers and into a keyboard and on to looking at words, which then go back through your eyes. As we learn that process, that's when it gets scary. And that's what the exercise is about. I want to know what happens when you go to type that thing out. I want to know how it feels. I want you to notice how it feels, what words you're using and why. And just, without going like, I just want you to understand what's happening inside when we step into this thing. And maybe, what steps along the bridge to get there that we can fill in for you together. So Happy New Year. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm really glad I just jumped on to say a quick hello. Stay cozy wherever you are. I'm going to jump back in with you guys probably this week, trying to do it twice a week. Have an amazing start to your week, and there's lots of content in here you guys can browse through. I'd go to the videos or either search in the little search bar under the topics we cover and just kind of like devour some content, get a good feel for this, and make a commitment. How are you going to use this group this year? What are you going to ask me? Like, ask me stuff, let's talk, let's debate. And I still want to know in your group chat, if you're catching it on the replay or in the comments below, what camp do you fall into? And do you believe, and do you believe, right? That's what comes up. Do you believe that, leaders are born and made? And the other thing that people are commenting on is, when you go to write it on paper, when I challenge you in the announcements, what comes up? Is it anxiety? Is it like, and why would that be? And that's okay, because then maybe the next step is having conversation about, so why the anxiousness if I know it in my heart to be true, right? I mean, the other stuff we look at is like, well, your experience, and it's not just all up here, like, well, I believe I can do this. That's important. That's a big part of it. But it's thought leadership is, no, you're going to actually one day have to step in front of somebody, and holy shit, you're going to have to know what you're talking about and have some really good facts to back it up, and be able to navigate that conversation. That can be taught. I promise you, that can be taught. Does it require a little practice? Absolutely. Doesn't everything? But that's the anxiety stuff. It's like, yeah, it's belief, but no, there's a process. We can get you over that. It's super fun. So I'm getting lit up again because that's the stuff I do, and that's the stuff I love doing. So I'll leave it there, guys. It was awesome to see you. Thank you so much. I want to see more comments, and I will catch you guys again real soon. Take care. Enjoy your day.